This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
What's up, everybody? I'm back for another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is Nick Mayhugh. Nick, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Appreciate you coming on. Let's just go back in time. Like, how did you first get involved in like sports and soccer and things like that?
I was really born into it. You know, my brother's 5.5 years older than me. My dad played sports growing up. So as soon as he had one son, he got him into sports. And then my brother picked up soccer, was really good at it. And, you know, growing up, I just wanted to be just like him and, you know, really just emulate him and wanted to be better than anything that he did. So I played soccer too. And then, you know, played soccer my whole life, played basketball a little bit, snowboarded, you know, just try to be as athletic as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you were in the 2021 Paralympics. What was the journey like to just like qualify for that? Is it like the same as like the Olympics? Like explain it to me.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the same exact thing as the Olympics. There's I mean, you have to go to US trials and then you have to hit their standard. There's the Olympic standard, which you know, anybody, like you saw DK Metcalf go to the US trials and try to qualify and hit that standard. He just didn't hit it. So anyone, if you're eligible for the Paralympics, or if you're eligible for the Olympics, it's all in the same. You just have to hit your standard, and if you hit your standard, then you get selected. So I had to, you know, I was training for the last 18 to 20 months, solely track and field, 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, every single day I was at it, and went to US trials, and that was actually my first legit track meet, which was the qualifying event to go to the Olympics, which was crazy. So
Yeah.
you know, it was a crazy experience. It's definitely been a roller coaster. It's definitely moved very, very fast, but you know, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you how I discovered you. I think you know it was from TikTok. So the new
Oh,
age,
really?
new age of
Nice.
social media. So so definitely, like, I mean, I work with athletes all the time, and I tell them, like, I was like, everyone got to get on TikTok, like all of them got to get.
Mhm.
So just to show you that it's important. That's how I knew about you, because if I wasn't, then I probably wouldn't know.
There you go. That's funny.
But yeah, just going into the Paralympics, like obviously we're in this weird still stage with the pandemic and stuff. So what was it like just to travel and then just like the arrangements and all the viral videos with like the quote unquote like the beds and things like that? Like what was just that like the environment?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely just a once in a lifetime. I mean, because that's the thing. It was pretty cool to be able to be. I mean, this being my first Paralympics, this was my first legit, you know, event like this. I'm excited that it was in Tokyo, because it was the pandemic ones. It was because it was so different. And I was actually interested because I knew what the other, you know, villages were like. I knew what the other athlete villages and the other experiences, you know, the rumors and the stories and all that. But to be there for that, I mean, I was just excited, and I'm glad it was in Tokyo, because Tokyo is one of the most clean, and Japan is just a clean, disciplined country. And, you know, there's no trash anywhere on the street. There's no, everybody's just doing their job and doing their job correctly. And so when we got there, everything was flawless. You know, it was actually really, really nice. And then you go into all the funny stuff of the cardboard beds, which really were cardboard. They were more like plastic cardboard. It wasn't just like flimsy little cardboard boxes that we were sleeping on, but the mattresses were recycled plastic. The beds were plastic cardboard, and they were very, very uncomfortable. And but you know, it was cool. We stayed in our Team USA building. We had, you know, our own game rooms and stuff. We had our own entertainment rooms, and we all got to, it was cool to hang out with everybody, to meet as many people as possible, and then to be able to see the other athletes from other countries and see how they work and what they do. And, you know, it was a good experience overall, but I'm definitely excited for fans to be back, for life to be back to normal in Paris. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. Which one was the first race you ran in? Like
the first one was the 100. The 100.
100. Yeah. All right. So when you got there, like were you, like, you get there and stuff, were you like nervous?
I wouldn't say I was nervous. I wasn't nervous to compete. I was nervous as soon as I it was the environment.
Yeah.
You know, to walk into, the only time I really felt nervous, to be honest, was opening ceremonies.
Yeah.
Is when we walked in, and you know, there's nobody in the stands like there should be. And I'm used to playing in front of fans anyway, you know, in college and with the national team for soccer. And you know, there's so many fans just in general anywhere we go. So I mean, that's something that doesn't really affect me. But just walking into the Tokyo Stadium and knowing and realizing, you know, the essence of why we were there and the meaning of it all, and to walk out there with the flag and walk out there with all Team USA, and then, you know, to see everybody, see everything, and that's when it kind of like hit me. See how big the stadium actually was.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. And then, you know, leading up to my 100, I was so prepared. I'd done everything I could to, you know, mentally and physically prepare myself. So, I mean, I walked onto that track and I had visualized it so many times before that I just knew what I was going to do. And I knew that it was nothing new. You know, it was just another rep. So I wasn't nervous going into the race, but I was before it for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. So you won the gold and set a world record. So what did that mean to you?
I mean, it's cool. You know, it hasn't really hit me yet. You know, even after everything that I did, you know, it's sort of, I think I sort of expected it. You know, I sat down with my coach before I left the States to come to Tokyo, and we wrote down everything we were gonna do. And he was like, all right, well, this is your first race, the 100 prelim. And he was like, what time do you want to run? And I told him 10:09. And he was like, all right, so you want to break the world record, run 10:09? And I was like, yep. And then he was like, all right, in the final, what do you want to do? What time you want to run? And I told him I wanted to run faster, told him I wanted to break the world record again and win gold. And we did that with every single race. And so it was sort of ingrained in my head that I was already going to do what I did. But to actually do it, you know, there's a heightened just amount of emotions. I'm sure you could see when I ran across the finish line, I'm screaming, staring at the clock 15 meters before I do it. Just, you know, it's just in that moment, you just kind of, everything that you plan that you want to do just goes out the windows and you just act on pure emotion. And it's incredible.
Yeah, for sure. And you didn't just win one gold, you won 3 golds and a silver. Like what has it been like, just like, you know, people reaching out, like getting on interviews, like how's your life changed basically?
It hasn't really changed that much, to be honest. I mean, you know, it definitely, I remember standing up there on the podium and I got really emotional the first time I was on, and then I got really emotional on my 4th medal. And just because I was just thinking about, you know, all the last 2 years that I put into really doing all this, and the amount of work and time my brother and I put into this, and, you know, just wishing that he could have been there to see everything in person and to be able to really experience that with him. That's something that we had worked towards for 2 years. And then, you know, when I got back, it was really good to see him, really good to see my family. And I mean, nothing really changed. I mean, I'm definitely, you know, anything other than like my Instagram followers and my social media following, really, you know, my social media following is up now, but I mean, my everyday personal life, nothing's really changed. People don't really speak to me differently or anything like that. I kind of stray away from people like that anyway. So
yeah,
I'm sure there are people like that trying to get in touch or trying to reach out and do some nice things now that they didn't used to do before all this, but I don't really pay that any mind.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the dope thing too that I saw before the Paralympics started, that I guess the US, whatever you want to call it, the sanctioned body, whatever, they let everyone. So now that they're equal pay for the gold medals. So that I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, and that's important too, because this, I mean,
sure.
it's pretty cool to be a part of that, just because it's the first year that they've ever done that, which is cool. But I mean, it's just a huge step in the right direction for the Paralympics too.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Hopefully there'll be a lot more things coming, especially going to Paris, because in Paris, I'm just in 3 years' time. I want to do it all over again. I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, probably obviously the other weird thing about the pandemic, it was labeled still as 2020 and we're in 2021. So it was just like, I just remember like looking at Twitter and I'm like, all right, do I search like 2021 or like 2020 Olympics or like what's like, it was just crazy. But yeah, could you explain to the people just like what like the disability you have and like what T37 means in the track and field?
Yeah, so I was born with cerebral palsy. I have a very mild form of it. What people don't know is that cerebral palsy is a very wide range neurological disorder. So it can affect, you know, your nerves, your motor function, your range of motion, everything physical, along 1 or 2 limbs, 3 or 4. It just really depends on your specific case. but it really just affects your motor function, your range of motion, and the ability to use a limb, or digits on your finger or your feet or your ankles, just sort of joints and everything. It really just affects everything sort of physical that goes hand in hand with sport.
Mhm.
Me specifically, I grew up 14 years of my life always knowing that there was something wrong, not really acknowledging it because I was so athletic. So, I made everything look so normal that no one really ever thought, there was something necessarily medically wrong. But I always knew that there was something different between my left and my right side.
Mhm.
And, it wasn't until I was 14 years old that I had a grand mal seizure. Before I went to high school, I woke up, I was laying in my bed, and I had a grand mal seizure. My mom called 911. I was rushed to the hospital, bit completely through both sides of my tongue. And, at that moment, I thought that was it for me. I had no idea. I was a 14-year-old kid. I had no idea what was going on. And I got rushed to the hospital. They ran a bunch of tests and scans and found a dead spot on the right side of my brain. And if you look on any of my merch that I just released, or on my Instagram or anything, you'll see the MRI, and it's just like a dead spot. It's just the size of a golf ball, pretty much. And it's just an inactive part of my brain, and that's caused from the stroke that I had in utero that caused my cerebral palsy. So it's been a hell of a ride, and it's been pretty crazy. But I wouldn't say that I'm an expert in CP or cerebral palsy. And what I know, that I'm still learning every day about stuff. People reach out to me and give me information on it, or ask me questions that I didn't really know, or just something like that. Like, I'm always learning about it. But within the track and field specifically, we are the classes from 35. We're considered T35 through T38. So there's 35 is considered the most severe case, and then 38 is considered the least severe. I'm classified as a T37, which would be a textbook CP athlete. You would be able to watch him, either play a sport or in the medical room when they're doing the testing, and be like, okay, this kid has cerebral palsy. It's very clear. You can see the differences between his left and his right side. And to my credit, and to my family and my coaches, I've worked my entire life to try to hide that, and so to the untrained medical eye, you would never be able to tell that I may be a disabled athlete. But I've put in the work. As cliche as it sounds, I've practiced and tried to put in the work every single day to make it look as fluid as possible, to try to exceed expectations, which I think I've done a pretty good job of doing.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, you played Division I soccer at Radford. And then you're also on the U.S. national team. So what's it like being a two-sport athlete?
I mean, it's humbling, for sure. It's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. To go from playing international soccer and being one of the best CP soccer players in the world to pick up a sport I knew nothing about was definitely shocking. I thought I was like, oh, fast, it's cool. Like, track is, you just run straight, right? Like, you just have to just get in the box and get out and run. It's not that bad. It's not hard. And it really shocked my world real quick. And I've never felt as unathletic, as uncomfortable, and out of my element as I did when I was training for track and field. I had to completely relearn my running mechanics. I had to break it all down from square one, and just like forget everything that I thought I knew and relearn everything, and learn a lifetime of sport in less than 2 years. And it was an insane idea. A lot of people, doctors and scientists that I work with, coaches that I work with, were telling me I was too old. It's biologically impossible for you to relearn and reteach your fibers to do that. You're a slow twitch marathon athlete in soccer, and you're trying to become a fast twitch sprint athlete. It's impossible. You're 25 years old. You can't do that. And it's just the fuel to the fire. And be able to be here now doing what I did. I told myself from day one I was able to do it, and it's been fun.
Yeah, for sure. So now that you won all these golds and stuff, so are you going to solely focus on track, or are you still going to play soccer?
I'm gonna go. I want to play soccer too. It's I definitely think it's been a changing guard. I think that track is gonna be my main thing now. I mean, I'm so obsessed with it. It's like I'll just sit on Instagram for hours, or sit on YouTube and watch videos. I'll be in the airport or on the airplane just watching my videos back and seeing things that I did differently, and see things like mistakes that I made in races in Tokyo or before that, and just watch Usain run, and Fred Curley and DeGrasse and all the top sprinters in the world, you know, just try to pick up on things that they do. So I'm obsessed with it. It's what I do all the time. You know, I'm always reading about it, always trying to critique myself and learn more and do something. But you know, I'm definitely want to go back and play soccer. It's what I love. It's my first love. It's what I was put on this earth to do. And you know, I'm definitely going to go back and enjoy it. But we'll see. I mean, if there's ever a conflict of interest, I might have to choose one or the other. We'll see. But I'll cross that bridge when I get there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and in 2019, you were the U.S. Soccer Player of the Year too. So, what did that mean to you to be named that?
At that time, that was a huge honor for me, and especially to my teammates. And that's the main thing that I had always said. You know, it was definitely cool for me to get that individual, you know, honor. But I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do that without my teammates. I mean, that team as a whole that year was so tough for us. We had been through a lot of adversity, a lot of messed up things had gone on and out of our control. And so to be able to, you know, really cap it off with a bronze medal at the Pan Am Games in 2019, and then, you know, to get home and to be, you know, awarded that honor was super cool. And at that time, that was the biggest moment of my life, you know. So that was definitely, it felt good, but I knew that, you know, we weren't number one in the world, so it didn't really matter. You know, I could be, you give me all the awards and all that. That's not really who I am. You know, I just want the team to be number one in the world. I want us to be the best. You know, I can be the best, but it doesn't mean nothing if my team ain't the best. So.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And what advice would you give to a young athlete coming up?
That's a loaded question, but I mean, just I mean, there's a lot that, you know, young athletes nowadays don't do that. You know, they kind of lose sight of it all with social media being what it is and trying to look cool and trying to look like you're doing a lot of things. And it's just, you know, just as simple and cliche as it is, just never forget why you started and to just always believe in yourself along the way. You know, if you can hold those two things close to you, and you'll never lose, you know, the itch why you want to do what you do. You know, like growing up, I always knew I loved soccer. I always knew that I was good at it, but I was good at it because I loved it, and I wanted to get better at it every single day. I have the word believe tattooed on my leg, and you know, I'd always had my own back. You know, I'd always believed in myself first before anybody else. I always believed in myself and knew that no matter what, no matter my disability, no matter my left side or how weak my left foot was and how bad my left pass was, or, you know, I couldn't cross the ball in with my left to as well as I could my right and certain things like that. Like no matter what, I always believed myself that I could, you know, be where I am today. And if you don't, then nobody else will. And, you know, there's been a few times along the road that I've lost a love for it and, you know, it became a job and the things that I just wanted to quit and give up. But as long as you remember why you started and, you know, break it all down to make it as simple as possible, it's just a game. You know, people turn it into all these things and turn it into full-time jobs and all these things that take it so seriously. But you just gotta have fun with it and just always believe in yourself, because if you don't, nobody else will.
Yeah, definitely. Did your coaches at your college know that you had that?
Not until so it's funny because I got recruited by everybody without anybody knowing. All throughout high school, I kept it a secret. My first 2 years, I kept it for as a secret in college. And then when I was a junior at Radford, the Big South, our conference, released a video on me about me being on the national team and my disability and everything like that. And nobody on my team knew. And they actually reached out and they said, "Hey, we're going to release this in the next couple of days. Is that okay with you? What's up?" And I was like, "Nah, just give me like a week. I need to tell a couple people something." And so I sat down all my teammates and the entire coaching staff down in the locker room, and I said, "Hey, like you're about to learn something about me that you know nobody really knows, and I just need to be honest with you guys because it's gonna shock some of y'all." And I told them, and a majority of them were supportive, and there were some that were like, "Nah, you're lying. Like, there's no way. You're not disabled. There's nothing wrong with you." Like,
Yeah.
and all these things. And you know, my teammates, they were good and bad with my teammates, but my coaches, I remember after I had said that in the locker room, they took me up to the coaching office, and my head coach and my two assistant coaches sat down, and they were like, "Why didn't you, you know, let us know? Why didn't you? I mean, I understand why you didn't let your teammates know, but why wouldn't you let us know? You know, like we recruited you." And for the first 2 years of my college career, my freshman and sophomore year, every single day after practice, Coach Butler, Riley Butler, would stay after practice with me and make me stay after. And we would do extra drills, dribbling drills, and I was whipping balls with my left and do shooting drills. We would do so many extra stuff after practice with my left foot every single day, just to try to make my left foot better, make it better, and just get better. And I never complained once. And, you know, and that's just the type of athlete that I was. And he actually, in the office, he was like, why didn't you tell me? You know, if I knew that, I wouldn't have, you know, been so hard on you. I wouldn't have made you stay after every single day. And I just sat back and I looked at him and I said, that's why right there. I said, that look, that tone of voice, everything. That's what I don't want. I don't want your sympathy. I don't want to be given, you know, the benefit of the doubt. I don't want that look. I don't want you to say those things. I needed that, you know, I needed that extra training. I needed that extra work. And, you know, if you want me to be the best soccer player I wanted, the coach, I wanted to be the best athlete I can be. I needed that extra work. I need to be pushed like that. And, you know, they respected it, but, you know, they were definitely hesitant to be like, well, we can still do this or do whatever. But, you know, I just didn't want to be treated any different. I didn't want to be looked down upon. I didn't want to, you know, be given anything because I was quote unquote, you know, considered disabled. You know, there's such a negative connotation with the word disability, and it needs to change. And I just didn't want any of those things that could be related as negative towards it, you know. But yeah, and then after that, it just kind of got out of control, and we just, you know, things have blown up since then. But I'll never forget that.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. No, I totally agree. As you probably don't know, I'm actually in a wheelchair, so I know,
really?
Yeah, so I know all about what you're talking about. Like even like when I'm talking to people, like I don't, like if I'm trying to meet up with somebody or like had a job interview in the past, like I didn't tell them unless I had to, and like I would look up if I could actually get into the place and things like that. So like I totally understand what you're saying. Because once you tell somebody, then they might treat you differently.
Exactly. There you
go. But yeah, just going what's next with you. And then I know you mentioned the 2024 Olympics or Paralympics. So but what else is next for you, like in between those 4 years or 3 years? 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, it's funny because a lot of people, that's probably the main question I get is what's next. And that's what the first thing I said when I did an interview with NBC after I won the 200. They said, well, now, you know, you're gonna go home. What are you gonna do? And I got home, and the first thing I did was called up my brother, called up my coach, and just had a little team meeting with us. And I was like, look, what's next? What do we got to do? And, you know, I'm going to enjoy my time off for sure. And then get right back to work. And whether that's, you know, training for soccer and getting back to the swing of things with soccer and football, or, you know, getting back to track, because we have, you know, I have the World Cup for the national soccer team in April. And then we got the World Championships for track and field in Kobe, Japan in the summer. And then there's another soccer tournament in the fall. You know, but there's definitely, there's a little thing I got brewing up. I'm trying to see if I can get into one more sport. I think I'm going to try to do 3. And I'm going to keep it a secret right now. I'm going to keep it a secret just to keep people on their toes, because I don't want to, you know, say something and then not be able to do it. But there's something else I want to try to do. They actually reached out and asked me if I was interested. But I'm definitely gonna try to my hand in a new sport. It's a winter sport, but we're gonna see if I'm able to do it.
All right, that's dope. So I know you said you're on vacation right now. Where are you?
I'm in Huntington Beach, California right now.
Nice. All right, so you ready for some fun questions? All right, first I want to give you other props too on your t-shirts for not just coming out with t-shirts with just your names on it. Like, so because I don't think, or like, because I don't know if people realize that. Obviously, you know, I'm sure you know, with all the NIL stuff, people are just like throwing their name on a t-shirt. I'm just like, why would somebody want that?
Yeah, no, I've been thinking about that, design, that, everything. I mean, I have so many more things I'm about to come out with. I'm trying to do it all the right way. But yeah, I was thinking about it because I just came out with my logo a couple months ago, and then I was like, what could have been my first thing doing? And it was cool because I was trying to incorporate my MRI, and you know, and it's so funny because so many people reach out and they're like, why do you have, like, what is that? Like, whose MRI is that? What is, whose picture of a brain is that? And I'm like, oh, it's just some dude that I got off the internet. Like I just went on Google and typed in messed up brain, and then I put the first one that I saw. Like, nah, that's my brain. And so it's funny. People are stupid, but
Yeah.
I put a lot of thought into that. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you like to do in your free time?
I'm a big video game guy. I'm a big Call of Duty. I got an Xbox. I just ordered one of my friends makes PCs for athletes and for gaming organizations and stuff. So I just talked to him actually a couple of days ago, and he's building me a custom PC, which I'm hype about. I'm a big video game guy. It's just I get so lost in it, and it's just me and my friends. A majority of some of my closest friends are overseas. They play soccer internationally in different countries, and so it's video games is a really easy way for us to keep in touch and just kind of do us and hang out throughout the day with the time change and everything. But I love the beach. I'm a beach kid through and through. So I mean, anytime that I can be at the beach, I'm gonna be there. Video games, the beach, just hanging out with my family and my friends. I'm a real homebody. I don't like being around a lot of people. I just like to do my own thing, and I'm very comfortable in my own space. So if I allow you to enter my space, then it really means something to me. So I don't know. I'm just a normal guy. That's it. I love Oreos. I mean, that's pretty much it, man.
What's your favorite song right now?
Ooh, I would think I'm gonna either say "Hats Off" by Lil Baby or "Fair Trade" on Drake's new album, "Fair Trade" with him and Travis Scott.
All right, yeah, I like those. And then last one, what's your favorite cheat meal?
Favorite cheat meal? I gotta think about that. Because that's the thing, the luxury of like me and my metabolism and my body. I'm able to eat. I have a strict diet when I'm training and doing things, but like I can afford a couple of more cheat meals.
Or how about this? What was like the first meal that you got when you came back from Tokyo?
I ate an entire I had so when I got back from the airport, I had so many people, whether they were fans or family, come to the airport and bring me a bunch of Oreos, and I ate as many Oreos as possible. I didn't eat dinner. I literally did not eat dinner that night. I went back to the hotel. We got a room, or I got a room, and I literally had a box of Oreos and ate as many Oreos as I could. That was pretty much my only cheat meal.
All right, I like that.
But that's the thing. I love sushi. I'm a big sushi guy, but I wouldn't consider that a cheat meal. Yeah. If I could eat so much sushi as I could, Oreos, that's my cheat. Oreos. Okay.
That's funny. Well, Nick, I appreciate you coming on, and could you let the listeners know where they can follow you on social media?
Yeah, you can follow me at Nick Mayhugh, NickMayhugh on all socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everything. It's all the same. I just made a public Snapchat for no reason, so you can go and follow that. I appreciate you for having me on, and I appreciate everyone for listening. And if you ever got any questions, I'm just a normal guy. You can DM me, message me, and whatever. I'm always down to have a conversation just to educate and, just answer any questions of people that genuinely want to know more about me or my disability or disability in sport in general. I think that's the biggest piece to everything, is that you just have to start the conversation of the Paralympics or the disability in general, and try to sway away from the negative connotation with the word disability. But I really appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me on, and if you ever need anything, you let me know.
Yeah, appreciate you too, and it's likewise, and best of luck
Yes,
with
sir.
the 2024 Olympics. I meant Paralympics, sorry, and your journey. So all your other events,
that.
and I'm looking forward to seeing what the third event I think I might know the thing, and I might know.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. We'll be in touch. We'll have to have another wrap up after Paris too.
Definitely.